Hello, 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 everyone. Mike Arnold here, co-founder, Pat Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacchino. How is everyone doing today? Rally continues, especially end of the day, late pop. We had Bullard coming out a little bit ago with some comments. We got earnings after the close, earnings this morning before the open, earnings tomorrow morning. It's earnings season. Hello, hello, Wavy. Little end of the day juice up. Well, end of the day rally, definitely. NASDAQ first closed over 200 days. Yep. So we'll take a look at that. Let's see what else we got. No way this goes back to all-time highs, right? Would make me want to pack away the bags and call it a year. I mean, I have stuff to follow which says 70% probability the highs are in, but there's 30% probability that they're not in. I mean, anything can happen. I'd be very surprised, but again, I mean, now we have, if you look at the profitless tech index, there it's screaming again. Like everybody's dumping in. So I started touching on this yesterday. Everybody's dumping into the same old beat up names that still aren't making money. But it's like, okay, buy the dip. We're going to new highs. Again, I've talked to so many people now, and that's the mantra. We're going to new highs, no matter what. Google 20-1 split was, so there we go. Anything's possible, I guess. I just think we kissed the trend line goodbye, and we will take a look at those charts. I am good. I'm hanging in there, getting prepared for the next snowstorm. Again, Rich, what do you say? It looks like a battle between future selling and dip buyers. We'll see who wins. Eventually, the dip buyers will run out of money, I think. Well, again, it's the dip that, I mean, we've had a decent bounce on this one, but then it's, even if you look, there's great bounces when you're rolling over into bear markets. Go back and check your charts from .com area. You get some massive bounces. By the way, Bob Iacchino should be on the live stream tomorrow, pending no disaster. But that's what it was. So he should be on tomorrow, so you can ask him questions then. I will check the Discord also for questions. So, my friend texted me this morning, says he's buying back his retirement account in Apple. So I guess he's putting it back in. He said new highs are pretty much set in stone, loaded up his entire savings. This is the problem. People are, I mean, I still have people who are taking out home equity lines to go all in the stock market because they're going to make another 30% this year. Okay, and they can borrow home equity, still under 5%, and then 5% to make 30% is a no-brainer to them. And when you get that kind of stuff, it's, if we didn't put it in the top already, we're friggin' close. Okay, and risk. I mean, even with rates up, risk 5 to make 30, no brainer. And again, I've said, well, what if it doesn't give you 30? Well, there's no way it'll give less than 5. So, I mean, when you get that mentality, it's, I remember that mentality back in, people borrowing money at the end of the .com era just because it's guaranteed money. And again, in 2007, it's guaranteed money. We'll take a look at PayPal. Remind me, Rich. Google and AMD ripping. We'll take a look. It's already been casino time. It's going back full force, especially with inflation. Everybody's like, I got to beat inflation now. So in the market, and here's one of the things, Bob alluded to this, rate hikes, the market generally does well. Yeah, however, you generally raise rates into a strong economy, okay? You generally raise rates into a strong economy. Here's what we have, and here's the own Atlanta Fed estimate. I just happen to have this up. Now, this will move around, and you can go subscribe to this in your email, but you can just look up Atlanta Fed GDP Now estimate and actually subscribe to it. So here's the analysts. And at some point these converge, but look at where it sits now. Here's 0. And this is for Q1. So even if it comes up, I mean, let's say it comes up to even, this comes down to 1.5, this comes up to 1.5. That's still not strong. You're hiking rates into this kind of economy, which I think they have to because they're stuck with inflation. Okay, but that's not a strong economy to hike rates into. Let's just go through a couple things and then we will take a look at some stuff. It feels like the casino's coming back. I'm not buying this bounce one. And we've been long, and it just hit the first target on the double, and it was lightening up today. So I'm ready to short the right signal, and there will be signals. Tesla up $5.80 after hours. We can shake a lot. I mean, it's again, we're turning it back into the dips. The sell-off's done for the year. We're going to rip through the end of the year. That's the feedback I'm getting. That's the feedback I'm getting. Go all in. So, by the way, after the close, before we get into that, let me just say, if you're new here, please do consider subscribing, ringing that bell, and hitting the like or dislike button. But really, go ahead and hit that like button. And ring that bell for the live streams. Let's see here. Now we'll get into some of the meat and potatoes. The meat and potatoes. We'll take a look at AMD. We'll take a look at PayPal. We'll take a look at Google. We'll take a look at those. We'll also, from this morning, take a look at UPS and Exxon. We should peek at Starbucks too, and EA. We should peek at a few of these. So we'll take a look at that after we get through some of the markets. Tomorrow morning before the open, gonna definitely check out Marathon, especially with Exxon's major beat today. Who's not going to look at Ferrari's earnings, by the way? Let's see. There's not a lot tomorrow morning that really has that's going to be earth-shattering, market moving. So, but some of these I will peek at just to see what they are doing. Here was the stuff from this morning. We had ISM. ISM beat the forecast, but down from previous, but still above 50. Remember, 50 is the line in the sand there. The other one, though, the big one that was jumped out was this ISM manufacturing prices. Forecast 67.6, 76.1. So manufacturing prices way up. Going to be interesting with inflation. Here's your heat map. Now this was at the close. Apple just pretty much neutral. Microsoft a little pullback. Google rallying before earnings coming out. You had Visa, PayPal, MasterCard, all that up today. Banks were strong. Amazon pretty decent. So Netflix continues its march higher. We're back into just dump money into a lot of the old names like before. It's just we could check our countdown to the Fed tool real quick. Let's just see if that changed at all. If it's going to let me. There we go. 90.5. So yeah, because they said they don't see the bait. Well, at least Bullard said didn't see what 50 basis point hike would do. So the 25 is back, the big one on the table. Bullard also said, I'm looking now at my news feed though. Let's see where this is. I think the markets are pricing in 5 rate hikes this year. Is not too bad a bet. Here, I don't think a 50 basis point increase really helps us right now. And there's something about, well, they'll be able to can assess how robust inflation is by July, August. I think they're counting on it dipping a lot more than it will. But the problem is the longer it sticks around, the more entrenched it gets. Then he also, Bullard, inflation is quite high right now on one hand, and he says, I don't think a 50 basis point increase really helps us right now. I think it actually would, but again, you have that hiking into a very weak first quarter potential GDP. Let's see. Oh, and then he also said the Fed balance sheet runoff can be faster than last time around. Also, I think the upcoming monthly jobs report will not be good. So we'll see that on Friday. Remember, it's non-farm payroll Friday this week. So keep that in mind. Let's take a look now. Here is your E-mini First target and significant level 45.38 and marching through that, continuing higher after hours. Again, that was an area to at least move up a stop. Next target area 45.78 and then 46.29.25. So I'm really focused on to see how it reacts at the 50 period exponential and the second target. Now we are in this clear path. If it continues above 46.29, the next target area from a clear path is about 46.62. But look at here, if it keeps marching up higher, we have a really nice convergence coming in around the 3rd of February, which would be Thursday. So if it makes a power move up to there, then we have non-farm payrolls on Friday. But that would be the next pretty close to the area. It's actually slightly below there for the clear path. It's right in that vicinity for the second target of the clear path move. So that's something to keep in mind. Bullish line in the sand for tomorrow. We finally, at least, oops, wrong one. Forgot, have to update these again to this pausing bar for our next key areas higher, but I'm more focused on those double targets. This was the next pausing bar, which gave me 45.52. You can see right there. And then the next area we have on the based off the double about 45.78 to, I hate when I can't see stuff, 45.78, 45.83, 45.90. So triple cluster up in that area, not to be ignored. Bullish line tomorrow. I'm sitting here right about 45.11. Let's see. On a pullback, key supports coming in about 45.11 to about 4,500. If you drop below 4,500, the next major support I'd be watching is about 44.50, right with the bottom of the 4-hour rotation zone in the prior breakout level. As long as it's holding above here on a closing basis, it would just be a standard pullback. You get a close into this consolidation, then again, not good. The major levels now for key line in the sand is about 43.41. So you're a long way off with that. But a great place also to trail a stop would be below a 44. This is where you take partial off and then you keep a longer term stop, which would be about 44.50 on there. That's really about it. Just remember, 50 period exponential is right here at this 45.77 area. Also, this key area at 44.50, and you have the 200 at about 44.32. So you might see a spike down if we got a bigger correction there, and then I'd watch to see if that 44.50 held on a closing basis. That was the S&P for you. Let's see what other comments we have. Let's see. We're at the weekly 8 EMA on the spiders. I'm about to go short. Okay. We can take a quick look on the spiders. Weekly. I mean, this is still technically in neutral mode, and it's just above there. I would actually wait. Personally, and I can't offer trading advice, I would watch for at least a rollover below the about 445 level. But again, can't offer trading advice here. That would just be the way I'd look at stuff for my own edification, since I can do that. Let's see what else we have. NASDAQ. Well, let's switch to NASDAQ right now with that. NASDAQ at the 20-day EMA. Just closing beyond it and hitting that significant level at 15,145. Next key area, again, we've hit the we've hit the first target on this double that triggered yesterday. Next area up is about 15,234. Then finally 15,436 with the declining 50. So another power move up, that's going to be major. And you're in this clear path move with the breakdown area being 15,491s, roughly 15,500. So you got a lot of key resistance up here. keep that in mind. I'm actually going to do the trend line redraw. I should have done this a while ago. I'm actually going to leave that on because that's the major one. Sorry about that. Let's see. I mean, still in power move higher. Everything's being discounted right now. There was just a little mini double today. You can see here. There's just this little pattern right there. That's what I had on earlier. Where my bullish line in the sand, though, tomorrow is 14,950. So anything above there, and that's also with the 1 hour rotation zone. The 4 hour rotation zone is back at about 14,879. So even if it pulls back around there, I'd watch for a catch on this prior little resistance with the candle bodies becoming support with the rising 4 hour rotation zone. If we drop below there, your major support now coming in. Your major support coming in right about 14,627 to about 14,600. So that would be my major support zone. Really nothing to do but trail a stop now on these from my perspective. And then next, again, you could profit taking 15,236, then 15,5, 435. So there's where we sit with that 20 EMA. Let's take a look at the Dow real quick. Again, it's back in, to use the term that everybody likes, it's risk off mode, full blown risk off mode. You know, everything's fine and dandy. There's not going to be any issues. So, you know, and these are the kind of things you can get in when markets start to roll over. Dow hit the 50 today. Significant level just higher, 35,382. We continue higher. Remember, clear path move. The next major target is 35,952. The minor targets, I have to update these. Here was the pausing bar. Remember, we got the questions yesterday. So this is the pausing bar, okay? So you see that just reinforces our next significant level. And then this, I would not ignore this target right there. Why would I not ignore that target? This is where these harmonics really help. Look at that. Here's your breakdown level right at a harmonic. So 35,623 is another minor level on the way up. So just, you know, your next full target is, if it continues, is 35,952. Your next minor target is about 35,630. Once it gets above this key harmonic and significant level cluster right there. Bullish mode for me tomorrow. I don't know if anybody uses that besides me, but about 35,050 with the rising 4 hour rotation zone. So here's your key support. If you did break below there, my major support would be 34,680. Dropping below, especially on a closed basis below 34,680, I'd put the rally as getting closer to over than not, but I need the close below this area. Why? It's not just the rotation zone, it's also back into consolidation then. Getting overbought on the 4 hour, daily getting closer and closer to overbought. So I'm going to be watching, especially as we get closer to non-farm payrolls, for this to peter out a little more significantly. All right. Oops. What did I... That was the other live stream. I hit the wrong button, of course. So you got to see the share vision. See the share vision live stream right there. All right. Let's see. Netflix up 25% since Bill Ackman announced his dip buy a few days ago. Yep. Don't even start me on him either. We had this little mini double, by the way. Then a little mini double confirmed here, and then it's already hit its targets. Could this thing fill the gap? Yeah. If you want to know the key line in the sand for that gap fill, you do just, it's still valid. It's above the 62.5. So my next major target, though, is the 50 EMA on the 4 hour. But I will not ignore the daily rotation zone, especially with the 75%. And we have a prior harmonic right there. That's Netflix. Let's see, UPS from this morning. UPS is a great little play. Gap, I mean, that was up. what I mean, this is the insane thing. It beat, okay, not pretty nice beat, but it's up 10%. It got up 10% pre-market and then just continued to rally, closing just below our next harmonic. But if you look here, UPS all-time highs again. So this is still technically a buy on any pullback for now. Don't have a longer term pausing bar just yet, but we have to go off this 4-hour pausing bar. So based off targets higher, and this is where I'd also use the most recent swing. Again, going off of teaching stuff, this would be the most recent swing. That's what you'd want to utilize. So your targets, I'd be watching about 238.68 to 240.68 if you're interested in UPS at all. And on any pullback, here's your major area that I'd be watching right around, right around 218. Close below 218, then I'd be focusing on a gap fill. As long as it pulled back and held above 218, then I'd just watch for it to base here and then another rotation back up. What else do we have? Let's take a look at Google. Yep, there's your Google. So they came in at an upside surprise of about 10% and our revenue up 4.25%. I'm really interested in first quarter earnings with a lot of these. We're now back near all-time highs with them. So that's going to be a pretty big influence. Should it hold? I actually want to see if this holds, though, through the tomorrow morning. That's what's going to be interesting to see whether it holds or whether it starts backfilling. That's going to be very telling for the strength of the market going into tomorrow. What else do we have? What else? The sell-off will start the Valentine's Day. All investors will cash out to buy gifts for their girlfriends. Are we going to have a Valentine's Day massacre? Is that what you're saying, Rich? They are selling PayPal hard and buying up AMD in the after hours. Well, I know AMD was... Here was the earnings. AMD closing in above the rotation zone. So that was just a surprise, 20% surprise upside and 6% or close to 7% revenue upside. And I didn't put this on yesterday, but this triggered. This was a buy yesterday, by the way, right there. And 127.80. Keep an eye on this prior breakdown area and with the 50 tomorrow and see if it sustains or rolls over is the thing above with AMD. I'd be watching PayPal. PayPal just can't get any love, can it? PayPal post earnings. Remember, we have this massive, see, this is why longer term, what do we have? This massive double top. Got the pause at the first one, dipping just below the second one with the 200 simple on the weekly, bouncing up, not even making it to the weekly rotation zone, and now trading 149. I'm still watching for it to hit this 140 area. That's what I'm still watching for. Couldn't even get above the just brief close above the rotation zone, but couldn't even get into the past support, becoming resistance and lower. PayPal still not interested in. I need to really get a good bottoming pattern, and then I think it could be a interesting longer term play once we've got too many people just trying to grab every dip in my book. Let's see. Liquid Vistas with Google split. Would you expect Apple, Tesla run like the 2020 splits? I I don't think that has anything to do with the split, but I am still watching for the Apple and Tesla run just because people are dumping money into the mega caps and I mean, even Apple's PE is high. Tesla's PE is ridiculous in my book, still. But yeah, I know it's come down, but it's still ridiculous. But I think money will still flow into that till we get the next rollover move. Uh, yeah, we Google 20 for 1 stock split announced, so that will, you're gonna have people try to buy it with the split announcement, and then we'll see the split, and depending on the market conditions, we'll see what happens, whether it has the next power run up or whether it rolls a bit. WFC Sterling, you wanted the Wells Fargo coming back again. I think we haven't looked at this. What I said, I'm still interested in banks. Here you go. Bank straight back. Well, remember we had the 52 mark with the weekly rotation zone. So I jumped straight to here with the rotation back up. I mean, I'm still bullish on banks. The only way that starts dampening this is if we now start getting you see it came down, test the 50 EMA, held with this key on the closing basis. Remember, use closes, this 52 level. If we get back below there now and close below the 50 EMA, then that would be a great place for me for a stop. Why? Because it's a decent tight stop. Because if we close below that, I'd watch for a return to the 200. And unless I'd want to hold it all the way back to the 200, I'd rather, at this point, you get a rotation up. We saw with that weekly, you're in. You keep a tight stop. If it breaks down below, you take a quick little loss, and then I'd watch for again back to get back in down here. Dividend play coming, or well, the dividend payout. You already had to be the ex dividend date. So if you go ex dividend, you have to be in this by the 3rd, and then the payouts on the 1st of March. You actually have to be on it by settlement date, so that's already off the table. But if anybody's in that already, then they get the dividend play on the 1st. There's your Wells Fargo. Again, I still like a lot of these banks. They got overextended, coming back, and now rotating back up. All the tech names, yep, getting the massive juice. It's going full blown again. Everything's fine and dandy. Look at ARK looking to, and ARK was way overdone, but I'm again bullish. I mean, look, we have this double triggered. I could easily see still ARK getting back to close to 83 easily. Look, 83, and that takes me to the weekly rotation zone. Not everything goes straight down, not everything goes straight up. So this is just the playing the little trades. Yes, like last year when markets started selling off in February and we have Fed speech this month. There's no Fed meeting this month, so we have to wait till March for anything else. Let's see. Google stock split and dividend. Yeah. What else do we want? Anything else that we want to cover? Let me see here. Oh yeah, we have to take a look at AMD. I already looked at that, didn't I? Yeah, I already looked at that. We already talked about that. Ooh, Starbucks miss. I still see the consumer slowing down. Starbucks missing. Let's see. They missed on earnings. The revenue was a beat, but earnings were a miss. Nearly a 10% miss, and back below this key little support wedge. Just going to update some stuff that I know I have it in my other platform, but not on TradingView. That doesn't give me a lot of new area, although I'd watch if we hold below this and roll down again, I'd be watching about 90 for a support level. Well, see what Keep monitoring the breadth. That's what I keep monitoring. Where is that? Key internals. Let's take a look at some of this. Like here's the U.S. stocks above the view. So let me get the where is it? That's the 10-day. Here we go. Stocks above the 5-day average, which is their 5-day average, is now hit way overbought. Okay, so on a short-term basis, you can see how extended this gets. And we generally start getting pullbacks in this area. That's why, again, trail the stop, lighten up. Stocks above their 20-day average, you can see rebounding from all down here. And now we're again, but we're only about 37% of all stocks above their 20-day average. All stocks above their 50-day average is back to 33%. Now, we were down here. This was when, the sell-off and things were looking very gloomy. It's why I was also watching for a bottom. But we have a long way to go. Look, back in November, you had roughly close to 70% of the stocks above their 50-day average. Look where we sit now, 33. Okay, you have a lot of the big stocks doing the heavy lifting, but you don't have broad market participation yet. All right? So this could rally up easily. This could keep getting a little higher, but then it can roll over again. That's where I'm saying you look at your breadth. Stocks above their 200. Look at this deterioration. So here's a year ago, okay? Look, February, let's just go to February 10th. You had close to 92% of the stocks above their 200-day average. Look where we sit now. 35%. You tell me how strong this is. Look how far the markets have gone in the last year, and look at the breadth. This is what I'm talking about. We have a core group of stocks doing most of the lifting. This is not an underlying healthy market, even with this bounce. Okay? Yeah, you have a little recovery, but look how low this was. I mean, we were down to 26% of stocks above their 200-day average. That's horrible. And even now it's 35%. 35%. And let's just look at the, I hope this is helpful to people. This is the kind of stuff that, I hope more and more people are looking at. Look at this. It's not that far off the highs, but look at again. So, I mean, where are we sitting? We're sitting at 4,550, 4,800 is the highs, so 300 points off the highs, which is nothing. That's what? Not even 1% off the highs now? Somebody else do the math for me. I can't do math while I'm doing live stream. But then you get down to, sorry, I didn't want ratios, but then you get down to, look at this for the broad market. 35% of stocks above the 200. And I think everybody here knows how important the 200 is. So you're telling me that this market's not strong based off of broad market strength. That's what has me really concerned. And I was talking about the market breadth for, how long have I been talking about this, regular viewers? I think I've been talking about this since like November. Even back in November, it was right around 50%, at the beginning of November. And then look, it's cascading down. Oh, you mean the minutes. We don't have a meeting. We have minutes, yes. We have the minutes from January coming out in February, but we have no meeting in February. Yeah, hey, Connie. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing again. We've talked about this also. Connie said, I guess people don't want to pay $5 for coffee anymore. Boy, the last time I was at Starbucks, my coffee I normally get, and I don't do it that often, but if I'm out running around and need something, and I do get a latte, but it was up to $6 and 33 cents. I almost spit it out. I almost choked. 6 bucks and 33 cents. I almost spit it out. 6 bucks and 33 cents. I almost choked. 6 bucks and 33 cents. I almost spit it out. I almost choked. 6 bucks and 33 cents. I almost spit it out. I almost choked. 6 bucks and 33 cents. I almost spit it out. I almost choked. 6 bucks and 33 cents. I almost spit it out. I almost choked. 6 bucks and 33 cents. I almost spit it out. I almost choked. 6 bucks and 33 cents. I almost spit it out. I almost choked. 6 bucks and 33 cents. I almost spit it out. I almost choked. 6 bucks and 33 cents. I almost spit it out. I almost choked. 6 bucks and 33 cents. I almost spit it out. I almost choked. 6 bucks and 33 cents. I almost spit it out. I almost choked. 6 bucks and 33 cents. I and it used to be 470 a year and a bit ago. Do you want to talk about that? That's wild. I'd make it at home. Starbucks sucks at $5. I can make coffee for a week. That's why I make it at home now. There's sometimes I just had a coffee craving when I'm out, and no more. No more. I will drive back home. Even if I'm out of state, I'll drive back home because it'll be cheaper with gas. Very well said. I will monitor these internals. I just think this seems to be good to be true. Everyone is just blindly bidding up the same names that caused the recent crash. And they're still overvalued by a long shot. But that doesn't mean they can't, again, climb to... We could... you could go back to new highs. Again, how do you play it? You're long something, and then on a rollover, you trail a stop. That's why, that's all you can do. And I think this is though the what we saw. Sorry, brain fart. I mean, if you look. Let's go to monthly. You get to the last. Look at this. I mean, and this is a monthly basis, but look how long, even with this sell-off at the start of the tech stuff. Then you had 1, 2, 3, 4 months, essentially. This can take a long time to roll over. All right? That's just the nature of stuff. Can I get back all the way there with... How far to... Look, here's the weekly. I mean, you had people saying the worst was over all through here. And I remember this. Because I was very active, and everybody was buying the dips back in the old, I'm going all in on Red Hat again, I'm going all in on this, I'm going all in on that. And then this was the killer. Once we see this kind of stuff where you get the bounce, it went a little lower, but the bounce, look, and another bounce, and it's going back. So... do I know it can't go to new? No, I don't know. Again, I just have a 70% probability that the highs are in for the year, but that doesn't mean that still leaves a 30% probability they're not. And I got to play the probabilities, and just a bounce is just a bounce. Can it keep going? Yeah, but that's why you trail a stop. I was talking last fall, and that's still, watch your internals. It's what a lot of people don't look at. They look at what the index is doing, but not how it gets there. That's why I think we're already in somewhat of a stealth bull market. There's a lot of names that aren't participating very strongly. So when we start getting, and it will be a when we start getting into the, those 10 stocks that do a lot of the heavy lifting, or 8 stocks, whatever it is now, when you start getting into that and those start rolling over, then really watch out. Because even if those other ones that have not been doing a lot of participation even get a little stronger, they're not going to be able to make up because it's market cap weighted. Thanks. About 6% off the highs. I can't do math right now. I can't. This reminds me of December rally. Well, there we go. My big thing, keep monitoring the internals. And then, we'll see what happens with Apple. But all right, just take a look. Even if we come up and make a new high. I've got to reset this too. And here's where you'll want to re-anchor, by the way, with this, because I do a reverse harmonic box here. Even if we come up here, get back above this 183 area, we're getting, look at this peak, and look where we sit now. It's gotta take a lot to get up there again. And I'm not saying it can't do it, but it's taking all it's got to get back up. And, these things eventually run out of steam and get the bigger correction. What are So I'm going to wrap this up real soon. I'm just curious here. I'm just thinking out loud to myself. On a live stream with a lot of people. Let's see. See, we're still for Apple price to earnings of 29. I know, but it's not a high fly. They have growth, but again, I'm going to be interested in this a lot lower. And you will see this. Mark my words, you will see it back below 20 at some point. Does that mean you can't go to new highs now? Sure you can. Then everybody's going to be, and that's one that's more stable, but there's other stuff that's just not as stable. So my advice is use your stops. Don't try to call another top yet. Wait for some signal. Do I have a signal, rollover signal yet? I have a slight waning momentum, but I do not have a rollover signal yet. If you do, please share it. Other than it's against the 8 EMA, I'm going short, because that's not, I've never seen even on a weekly basis, just because you're against a rotation zone even, does not mean you just short. That is a recipe for disaster. Thank you. I think Google will outperform all big tech cap, and it can. But at some point, we'll see Google roll over too. It was getting a little beat, but when I start seeing Apple, Microsoft, what was it? Where's it? See, Microsoft 33. I want to, and Microsoft's already starting to not. We got the bounce, but it's starting to still. So keep an eye on some of these big high flyers. Maybe I'll make a custom index out of them. Maybe I will make a custom index and we'll start tracking that to start to see how that goes in relationship with the overall market, and we can do relative strength comparisons. If you're interested in that, let me know. Trading alerts channel. Oh, well, before that happens, I know you're waiting for the course. I might be doing a limited subscription service that would also have, besides some special live streams that are private only, it would be probably 8 to 8:15 Chicago time, 9 to 9:15 East Coast time, every morning before the open, just to take a look at what's going on based off what happened in the European session, what are some key things to watch for, what are we looking at going into the open, to help people. Let me know if you're interested in that. It would have to be paid, because that's, again, my two busiest times per day are the open and the close, and and I'd have to be here to do it every day, but it would be some thoughts along those lines and a discussion. We could look at stuff, so let me know if anybody would be interested in that. YouTube missed ad revenues. That's sort of interesting. Enough people aren't watching my channel. See? Look what happens when enough people don't tune in. Well, Kalani's in. There's one. So again, I'm not going to do it for two people, because it's something I'd have to commit to. Yes, and we want your signals. Well, okay. QCOM. All right, let's take a quick look at QCOM. Thank you for the updates. I can't watch a news feed and do the live stream at the same time, so thank you for QCOM is up, but the earnings are tomorrow. So it's up post, but earnings are tomorrow. Is that a double? I haven't looked. I didn't look at QCOM. This could be interesting. Yeah. Yeah, it's a double. That'll be interesting going into earnings tomorrow. I mean, if the odds are with you, may the odds be in your favor. You got odds for a, That could be an interesting little earnings play on a smaller position size. I wouldn't bet the house on it, but you got the probabilities with that. The double in there going into earnings could be interesting. Well, remind me to check on Qualcomm tomorrow. I'm all in. I will pass on signals. Yes, please, Sterling. So, I mean, I got five. I probably need about 20 people to commit to make it worth it. So again, you can put stuff on the Discord if you're interested. Just put it in the general. Give me some thoughts and comments on that. With that, I'm wrapping this up and we'll prepare for the company that shall not be named. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Again, one more time, by the way, if you're new here, please do consider subscribing, ringing that bell, and hitting the like button. That's all for today. For this stream, see you on the next one in a few. Bye for now.